to ARFID What You Eat, a channel where we deal with some of the issues that somebody with avoidant restrictive food intake disorder deals with on a daily basis. My name is Chris. Today we're going to be trying out a food, and that food is the cantaloupe. Can it elope or can't it elope? Okay, so my previous experience of cantaloupe, I don't think I have any. I have no recollection of ever trying one. I don't really have any experience with melons in general, and I don't really know what to expect today, so yeah, let's just dive right into this. Appearance-wise, right off the bat, it's hard to ignore the fact that this thing is a behemoth. This is enormous. Has to be the biggest food I've tried so far. It's super heavy too, like this is a rock. But yeah, that aside, appearance-wise, the first thing I'm noting is that this is literally an alien egg from a movie. Like, you could easily tell me this is an alien egg. I would believe you. It has this weird pattern along the top here where it has all these yellowy green lines running all over it, just all over it. And underneath them there is, I guess, like what would be like the true color of the cantaloupe itself, this like very light lime green color. But yeah, these lines running along the top, they're fascinating. It's like this thing is covered in a web or something. It's got a bunch of dents and cuts in it, like there's a big cut right here. I'm assuming this is all from the actual like harvesting process. Got some bruising. It's got a massive bruise on this side here, which I'm gonna guess is from sitting on the shelf. Like honestly, this whole thing is very concerning looking. None of this looks even edible to me. This looks scary almost. Yeah, you can see up close here. Again, it's like it's covered in this like webbing pattern that just wraps the whole thing. I mean, technically, I guess this is green, but there's so much of this light yellow patterning along the top that it's almost just as much of the surface as the actual surface is. It's not good looking. It doesn't look tasty, but it's certainly fascinating. But that's the outside. So the inside, let's cut this brick of a food open. Ew. Oh no. Oh, look at that middle part. It's like a pumpkin on the inside here. There's a ton of seeds. There's a bunch of stringy, webby looking parts. That looks really gross, actually. The orange, like, flesh of it doesn't look as bad. Yeah, whatever's happening in the middle here is quite gross. What on earth is happening here? Yeah, you can see all these seeds in the middle, and you can see this webbing pattern that's running through it here. It's like a chasm that goes deep inside of it. Goodness knows what's hiding in there. It's like I'm about to eat this food and there's a cave in the middle of it. Disconcerting. The color is a little weird because, again, it doesn't match the color on the outside. It's this orangey color. Not the most consistent either. It kind of radiates out, starting whiter in the middle and becomes more orange on the edges. Then you've got this weird patch here that's a little bit whiter. I couldn't tell you why. Don't really like that. It's a little darker where the bruising is on the outside. In general, I would not call this an appealing look here. This alone, this middle section, is enough to just make me say no to this. Not excited. It's not too bad. It smells fresh. Yeah, the slightest touch like citrusy, but very fresh smell. It's pretty nice, actually. Yeah, the more I look at this, the more that middle section, ugh, don't like it. Texture-wise, on the outside, it is incredibly tough. Like, this thing is a brick. So firm. And again, you can feel all this webbing running along it. You can feel the texture of that. It really doesn't feel like I'm holding food at all, to be honest. As for the inside, it's okay. The slightest bit juicy, but not too juicy. That's nice. But still does feel pretty firm. I'm intrigued to see how tough this is. Almost has like a velvety texture on the inside here. I'm gonna touch that middle section. Ew. Oh, that's a lot softer and grosser. Oh goodness. Very stringy, very webby. I hope this isn't stringy when I eat it. And yeah, the seeds are generically seed-like. Won't be eating those. But yeah, as enormous as this thing is, I'm gonna have to cut this up into some pieces to eat. I can't just take a bite of this. And to my understanding, I'm not supposed to eat the outside rind anyways, so let's just cut open some of this middle part here and have a bite. Have ourselves a little slice of cantaloupe here, so let's go for it. First bite. That caught me off guard in mouthfeel and taste. Before I even get to the taste, the first thing that really caught me was the mouthfeel. Soft but firm at the same time. So hoping this would just be a little more melty or a little more just take the bite and it smoothly goes down. But you bite that and you certainly do feel like this is a bit of a portion, you know, there's something to that when you're eating it. And the flavor, that caught me off guard here. It was the slightest bit sweet, but there was other kind of flavor happening that surprised me. Thankfully the flavor wasn't that strong and it came and went pretty fast, but it still kind of surprised me. I gotta like take another bite, I feel like, to have a better sense of how to explain what I just had. Even the texture, I'm having trouble putting words to it, so while this wasn't bad, it was a touch confusing. It was surprising. It wasn't something I'm familiar with, that's for sure. Okay, bite two, here we go. tough bite to take. It's juicier than I anticipated too. Like it felt a little bit juicy on the top, but not really. When you take that bite though, it is pretty juicy actually. And whatever that flavor is, kind of like almost like a bit of a grape flavor, if I had to say. A tiny bit sweet, but there's something going on there that I'm not really a fan of. And I don't like that texture. It's a harder bite to chew than I would anticipate. And when you first put your teeth on it to kind of go for that bite, it's actually pretty firm. Like it feels like you're having to like really chew into this thing, which isn't what I expected. Well, let's take a final bite here and see if I can't make a little more sense of this. Here we go. Now I know it's tough. I don't want to take that bite. I can feel my teeth like having to really dig into it. Okay, actual final bite. Let's try this. Weird flavor. It's not like terrible, but it's not enjoyable. Whatever's happening in this, I don't like it. If it's gonna have this weird flavor, I would prefer it to be a little sweeter, and it's not. It gives me memories of like having a juice that maybe I once had or something. I don't know. It's not stringy. I'll give it credit there. I thought this would be stringy. It doesn't get stuck in your teeth or anything. It does go away fairly easy enough, but it's tough to take a bite of. There's more substance to them than maybe I anticipated. And I wouldn't say it's all that particularly enjoyable. The flavor and the texture, neither of them are really doing much for me here. It's just kind of this weird off-brand like juice of some kind. But yeah, cantaloupe. Overall thoughts. The appearance on the outside is gross and strange and very alien to me. I don't like it. As to the inside, the actual flesh looks fine. I really don't mind that. Even the color's okay, honestly. But I don't like this middle section here at all. I really don't like that. Smell-wise, yeah, it's okay. It's not a very strong smell, and it's not really an offensive smell, but it's not a particularly good smell. It's just it's a fresh smell. Texture-wise, yeah, the outside of this thing is a mess. You can feel the bumps from the webbing. It's not smooth at all. Kind of has a coarse quality to it, like a rock. The inside feels okay, although it's very firm. This whole thing's really firm. It's a little bit juicy, but not too juicy. It's not terrible, honestly. The texture on the inside, the part you're actually eating, but it's not an exciting one, that's for sure. Taste-wise, it's hard to even put my finger on this. Yeah, it has this flavor I can't contextualize very well because I don't have a lot of experience eating a lot of things. And I don't really have any experience eating melons. But what I can say is that, yeah, to me, it wasn't very good. It was a touch sweet, but not very, like, off-brand juice kind of flavor. I don't know. It was weird and kind of strong, but also went away quick, thankfully. It wasn't like a lingering flavor. I don't taste it anymore, thankfully. But it wasn't a flavor I enjoyed. My tongue's like sitting here trying to figure this out. My tongue's on Wikipedia right now trying to like do research, and it can't figure this thing out. And mouthfeel, yeah, this thing's actually pretty tough. Like when you take that bite, you can feel your teeth sinking into it, like you're chewing into a piece of meat or something. But it wasn't stringy. I thought it was going to be stringy potentially. It wasn't that. So it wasn't a terrible mouthfeel. But yeah, much tougher than I anticipated. I didn't like that. But yeah, cantaloupe. Nah, not the worst, but there was nothing about this as I was eating it that was redeeming to me. There was nothing that I was chewing this and thinking to myself, yay, this is good. I'm enjoying this. I didn't enjoy it. You know, I could eat it, I suppose, but I did not enjoy it. Would I eat this again? Maybe in a very, very specific context. Maybe it can work well as like a side to something else. I don't know. Maybe it's a kind of flavor that benefits from interacting with certain other flavors. But on its own, yeah, it just had this weird flavor that did not appeal to me. The texture wasn't all that appealing. Nothing about this really in general was all that appealing. I can see why this is called the Cantaloupe. But anyways, yeah, this is youARFIDwhatyoueat. My name is Chris. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. We have new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, so if you enjoyed what you saw, come back and we'll have more ARFID content for you. But until then, again, thanks for your time, and I really appreciate it, and we'll hopefully see you back again soon. And yeah, take care, eh? Have a nice day. Bye-bye.